Folks, I'm going to show you exactly how to build your own off-grid power system. And it really comes down to connecting just 3 basic components. If you've ever used jumper cables to get your car running when the battery died, if you can do that, you can do this. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking I've got some pre-wired kit, or you're going to have to call up an electrician, or I'm going to bury you in some kind of electrical theory, or give you a bunch of acronyms that are just going to confuse you. And you know what? That's not the case today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to hook these systems up and what those components are. And it is truly simple. Anyone can do this. Folks, if an old Jarhead can do it, well, then you can too. But before I show you how to wire it all up, there are some things that I want to cover really quick. First, I know most people think with an off-grid system that the heart is, well, solar panels, because they think it's a solar-powered system, and, well, solar is the main component, and it's not. In fact, you can have an off-grid system without solar power at all. You could have a generator with a charger, just like a battery charger, and charge the battery up whenever it gets too low. And of course, you could do solar or, for that matter, micro hydro too. So there are lots of options to provide power, but they all have to provide power to the battery itself. That is the heart of the system. So now the inverter takes that battery power and converts it to essentially what you would think of as your utility power. You plug something in the wall, it works, you don't have to think about it. That's what the inverter does. And all you really need to know, at least starting out, is that of all the inverters you could possibly buy, you want to get one that says pure sine wave. And that just has to do with the kind of power it's producing, and pure sine wave inverters produce the cleanest power that most closely mimics the power you get from the utility company. Now the third thing that I would mention is your charger. And notice I didn't say solar charge controller, because you only need a solar charge controller if you're using solar power. That would be a common way to do off-grid power. But if you're just going to use a generator, well, then you can use a battery charger with your generator. And obviously, since you're probably thinking about solar, you're going to want something like this one here, which is my Victron 15035. You need one of those to convert that solar power, the power that the sun is generating with those solar panels, to get your battery properly charged up. It's very simple. Okay, those are your main components. Now, one note about charge controllers that's very important to pay attention to, and that is that they must be connected to your batteries first. Now, most modern charge controllers are auto-sensing, so like this Victron right here, which will actually do 12, 24, 36, 48, and let's see, any others? Nope. Those are the voltages it'll do. And it'll auto-sense that voltage. I don't have to do anything. Just plug it into the battery. It'll sense that voltage, and it'll prepare itself to charge from solar to that particular battery. Now, wiring this up is actually very simple. There are a few things that I will discuss while I'm wiring it up, because you don't want to make a little spark show like I've done in the past, and it's kind of embarrassing to admit that, but I was making a video last year and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. And even though I was actually saying you should put a fuse in when you do this, and then I connected things together and boom, well, you know, if I'd have put a fuse in, that wouldn't have happened. Of course, it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have connected those together either, because I was actually doing something wrong because I wasn't paying attention. So pay attention. All right, it's actually very simple. Negative to negative, positive to positive. Wire size is based on the amperage that you're going to draw off of your battery. And this is something very important to understand. Batteries do not push power. A lot of people think that because a battery says it's a 100 amp battery or a 100 amp hour battery, that it's going to push 100 amps somewhere. They don't do that. They are like a gas tank. You have to draw the gas out. Now, if you're using a 2000 watt inverter like I have here today, and a 12.8 volt battery at 2000 watts, this is drawing just over 156 amps. So you're going to want to have a cable that can handle 156 amps, and you're going to want fuses to handle that as well. Now, in this particular case, I am using 1/0 cable, and it is rated at 150 amps for power transmission. However, according to the inverter store, for chassis wiring, so that would be from your battery to your inverter, it's actually rated at 245 amps. So that is, in theory, a good enough cable to run here. I should probably be running 2/0 if I don't want to trust the inverter store. Now for fusing, because I can draw 156 amps at a full 2000 watts, I should have a fuse, a T-class fuse on my battery that will protect my cable. I would want a fuse of about 25% greater than that, like this one here, only this is 150 amps, so I need a bigger one. And I would place that between my battery and my inverter. That will protect that cable from getting too hot and burning the place up. Now I would also put a breaker in there. So now we've got a battery connected to the inverter with a T-class fuse between the battery and the inverter, as well as a breaker. In my particular case here, I happen to have a nice little switch that tells me the voltage and allows me to turn things on and off. This is a very simple system to set up, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this system in operation here. So give me just a minute to get everything connected up and walk you through it. Now again, I should have this fused, but I'm not going to fuse it today. I just am here to show you how this works. Super simple to plug these in. Just like that. That one would reach over here. All right, there we go. Now, we could take our PV, do the same thing. Very simple. Just connect these up. We connect this up to my disconnect, like so. Very simple here, folks. So we can connect our solar panel up to here. That will run through this disconnect over to the charge controller. The charge controller then runs over to the battery and will provide the charge to the battery. The battery is hooked up through a switch that I have down here to my inverter, and I can turn that on. There we go, 13.2. Turn that on. That runs over here. I can now turn this on. And hopefully you can see down here, we've got power there. So let's go ahead and run something here. Hold on a second, folks. Let's find something I can power up off of that, just for fun. When is the last time you saw one of these? You know, if you happen to be a woodworker and you have an old jigsaw, maybe you got one of these old metal bodied. This one's a Century, Guardian of Quality. Woo! That old stuff never quits, folks. And that's it. We powered that literally off of that battery. That old jigsaw hasn't done that in forever. And I've got solar panels all over here. I could take this guy right here and connect this up. So let's have a look at that. On the back of all of your solar panels, you got your wires coming out, positive and negative. So I can literally go here, connect that up there, connect this up over here. There we go. And then if I had enough light, all I gotta do is face that into the light, flip my switch, and if there's enough solar coming in, it'll start charging that battery. I smell that old jigsaw. I love those old tools. I actually used them as a kid. Not that particular one. I've watched a lot of solar videos over the last many years. I think they bury you in, different wires and fuses, T-class fuses or MIDI fuses or fast blow or long blow. And you've got modified sine wave, square sine wave, pure sine wave, PWM, MPPT. You got it all. And I think that we can cut all of that out and start somewhere else. I think if you learn from a smaller system like I've demonstrated right here, it'll be a lot easier to learn those bigger systems and all those different acronyms, combiner boxes and DC disconnects and shunts and all that different stuff. I think it's easier to pick all that up if you start with a smaller system. So by wiring up just a simple battery, like a 12.8 volt lithium iron phosphate battery, like the one I was using today. But if you just use a 12.8 volt battery and a pure sine wave inverter, it can be a fairly inexpensive inverter. You could just hook that inverter up to that battery and brew yourself a pot of coffee in the morning when the power's out. You just can't beat that. And if you start there and then maybe get one solar panel and a charge controller and hook it up to it, you can start learning that way. Now, I've got plenty of videos on advanced systems and a whole lot more on my channel. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below and I'll answer it. And of course, as always, if I helped you out, folks, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. And thanks to all my members. You guys rock. I really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, folks, I'm going to throw another video right over here for you to check out. Thanks again for watching. Y'all have a great day. The old Jarhead out.